If you enjoy scary stories, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel.
Let me share a story of mine that isn't the scariest, but is definitely puzzling. It happened when I was about 15 years old. I lived with my parents and brother in a completely ordinary, non-mystical apartment. It was late at night. I was in my room, my brother was in his room across from mine, and my parents were in the room next to my brother's. It was around 2 a.m. Everyone was already asleep, the entire house was quiet and dark, and I was sitting in bed reading a book. Suddenly, I heard a knock in the hallway. Not something falling or scratching, but a deliberate knock, knock, knock on the door, seemingly on my brother's room. That was odd, because no one in our house ever knocked, but I thought maybe Mom decided to check if my brother was asleep, so I kept reading. Maybe a minute later, I heard knock, knock, knock again, but this time on my door. That startled me a bit. I turned around and stared at the door, expecting Mom to ask why I wasn't asleep. But there was silence. I called out loudly, "Who's there?" But no one answered, no sounds at all except that polite knock, knock, knock. The floor in the hallway was creaky, so I would have heard if someone walked away. I stared at the door for a while, then turned back to my book and kept reading until I started dozing off. In the morning, Mom woke me up by bursting into my room and sprinkling holy water everywhere. It turned out someone had been knocking on their door that night too. The only one who hadn't heard anything was my brother, so there's a small hope he had a bout of sleepwalking, though he'd never had such episodes before. Later I learned that some monsters need permission to enter, and I was glad I didn't say, "Come in," instead of "Who's there?" at that moment.